Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to another Second Amendment media workshop. So we run these every Tuesday and every Saturday to create a platform for people to get together and chat about creating Second Amendment content, unrelated content. Is that me? Me. Okay, so trying to create a place for people to get together and share their knowledge and their resources and collaborate and network. So everything we do online is an effort in new media, interactive social medias and all that. So people are watching here on gunchannels.com, a community we built, going on 6 years now, a place for people to get together and collaborate on gun-related stuff. Then you've got Instagram going over here on my phone, it's falling all over the place. Got a couple of people joining us there. And then, of course, the big platform with our biggest soapbox on a platform that doesn't really like our property, probably doesn't appreciate the laws that we like, but we are watching the comments that come in from there and all the other platforms. So be part of the show. You watch television and you read the newspaper, but you use the internet. We want to encourage people to be part of the conversation out there. So we send an invite out to these workshops to people we know in the Second Amendment media, people that are working towards, valid projects or goals. A bunch of people got the invite today, and we'll see who all joins in. Tony from Simon Says Train, or 2A for Everyone, or Diversity Shoot, depending on which angle you want to do it. What podcast? What's the name of the podcast?
2A4E podcast.
Okay, that's easy to remember. So then you said you're in the midst of creating the podcast now. That's the live one is tonight, and then the other one is the recorded one is during the week?
No, during the week I'm on Firearms Radio Network's Gun and Gear Review podcast.
Okay, I got it back.
Then I have my own podcast, 2A4E. So Gun and Gear Review podcast every Tuesday is live. You can find it on Firearms Radio Network's YouTube channel. Gotcha.
And then you're doing the 2A for Everyone. So what do you got for the podcast this week? What are you planning?
This week, I got to what we did at the range this week. I went to the Friends of the NRA in Hudson Valley, New York, and supported them. Going to try to do some work in New York State this year. So that was meeting people and networking.
So that's Friends of the NRA is like the regional or state or local level NRA supporting groups, like local grassroots groups, I guess they call them. And they do like a yearly, usually they'll do like a yearly, like dinner auction type of get together. They raise a bunch of money, and it's a chance for everybody who's pro 2A to get together and have an afternoon and together, right?
Yeah, and last year, the anti-gun forces got together and were protesting. They had like 100 people, maybe 50. I don't know. It was a lot lined up right at the entrance to the hotel that we had the event at. And they started taking pictures of our cars and putting them on the internet, telling them to harass us with our driver's, the license plate number and everything, telling them these are the people that, blood on their hands, NRA, whatever. And so I went this year to support them again, expecting the same thing. And they were not there this year. So that was cool. But because of their antics last year, they set these people over the top in fundraising. They raised over $50,000 last year because of this ridiculousness. The years before, they were in the mid 30,000s. So because the anti-gun people came out and started harassing good people, others donated a butt ton of money to the cause.
Interesting. Wonder if they got wind of that and that's why they didn't show up this year.
I have no idea. But thanks a lot, dummies.
Yeah. Okay, so I interrupted you there just to,
Oh,
again, if this is a workshop sort of thing, I don't want to assume, but again, let us know if I'm wasting everybody's time by interrupting Tony like that. If you already know what Friends of the NRA thing is, but give us feedback. We don't know, we're not here to entertain anybody. We're here to, provide a workshop so that we can all get further along anyway. So you were talking about
no,
what's
it was.
podcast.
Yeah. So what we do every week is we do legislation. So I talk about what's coming from different states because it was just getting too depressing doing just Jersey, and I did realize that this isn't just for me. This is to educate everyone everywhere about what's happening and how they can affect it. So we're talking about Delaware and probably Hawaii. I have to finish typing that up. So that's in my legislation. I actually name the bills and tell people to contact the legislators. We have Gear Whore, which is our product review. And this week we're talking about just bulk carrier groups from AIM Surplus. I I'm not cheap. I'm tactically thrifty. So I give people an idea of what decent product is at a certain price level. If I can, if I have more expensive stuff, I use it. I like even on my the other show, Gun and Gear Review, compare. Like, is this, let's say, $300 trigger group twice as good as the $150 trigger group? You know what I'm saying? Just to let people know, because when you're first starting out, people were throwing everything at you, telling you to buy Anderson lower and build it yourself, telling you to buy the least expensive AR, telling you spend the most money. So we try to help people clear that up and let them know exactly what they're getting when they buy. Training concepts. We're going to talk about some level of training. I have no idea what it's going to be, but we'll come up with it between myself and my partner. And then we talk about gun culture, which could be anything firearms related. Last week, we did what's your Miami Vice? If you're on Miami Vice, what would be your loadout? What would be your rifle, shotgun, pistol, and backup gun?
So that
So it's
means like
just anything.
restricted to back then 80s guns.
Yeah, from like 83 to 90, 91, something like that. Like, what would be your carry gun back in the day? If you could have anything you wanted that was made back then. So it's just something fun everybody can think about if you're old enough to remember Miami Vice. And if you're not, you can still try to do a little research and find out what was cool back then or what you could have owned. But we try to introduce people to just different guns. Can be fun. Guns doesn't have to be everything about, fighting off tyranny. It's like all of us are here for different reasons, but we're here to fight for the Second Amendment. And just sometimes people get turned off. If you're not a tactical dude, if you're a hunter, you don't want to hear about black rifles all day, every time. If you're a black rifle dude, you don't want to hear about, wood and steel 30-06s. So we try to entertain you and interest people all the way around and let them all know that you have to be involved in actual legislation. You can't just wait for someone else to pick up the slack. And then we give shout outs at the end of the show. Yeah, go ahead.
It sounds like then you do like you have like a format or a like a template, and then you fill it in with whatever's like current or applicable.
Yeah, we try to do that because we had the goal of like a half hour show, half hour, 45 minutes, because that sinks in with many people's drive time. And pretty much we ended up with a show twice as long. We try to do 10-minute segments. So if you bounce out, you can fast forward through stuff like, you get out of the car, you can start it back up where you left off, or at least you know what section you were in. So you can fast forward it to it. That's what we try to do. Make it convenient for the listener and give out information without being boring and have fun with it. Because if you're not having fun, you're not going to do it for long.
And this is episode 54 then this week?
This is episode 58.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something's happening going on with Anchor, which is where we host. I try to go online and download it so I can post it on Spreaker and everything on Spreaker, and it will not show me that I have any shows available whatsoever. So it's a little frustrating. Because Spreaker puts me on YouTube. Spreaker puts me on... I'm not on iHeartRadio yet, but I'm trying to get on that. just to reach
Okay,
as many
you got
people.
the lead for iHeartRadio though.
I don't know what that is. They have on Spreaker. I can contact iHeartRadio
Yeah,
and
we
and,
got
and
a lead
request.
for you on iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay,
But
cool.
because iHeartRadio I don't know if it's whatever, like they had something previously, or maybe they have to have like a non like method like what you're talking about with Spreaker. But yeah, we've got one that hopefully will work for you. So
All right, cool. Thanks.
talking about your podcast, then this is a workshop, and hopefully people are going to get inspired or encouraged to do something to add their voice to a conversation, right? Um, you sounds like you have a general format, and before the show, you fill it out and collaborate with your co-host, and then sounds like to facilitate or to broadcast the show, you do that on Anchor, which is a phone app.
Yep, phone app.
Okay.
It's a phone app. Download it. It's free, but again, you get what you pay for. I've had problems. We lost half of the people that listen to our show because Anchor just stopped working for me last year. Uh, Pretty much the entire month of December. It was frustrating. They were like, "Oh, it's the Thanksgiving holiday." I'm like, "Okay, we're coming on Christmas, and then we have New Year's. When are you people going to fix this?" So I think it took 4 weeks without us doing a podcast. So it was really, really anger inducing.
And you do it with Anchor because it allows you to initiate it on your phone with an app, and then your co-host just calls in to a phone number, or does he have to
Yep.
have the app also?
He has to have the app also.
Okay, and then he
But
calls into like your room or whatever through an invite
mhm,
or something. Okay, and then how many
yeah,
people can join that Anchor broadcast while it's being streamed live?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it at all because it's usually we had one guest, Kevin Dixie, and I sent him a link and he was able to just call through and pick up. So
And then there's
that's,
three of you in there.
yep, three of
Okay.
us in there. The Anchor app kicks you off after 10 minutes. You're just on your own if they kick you off or not. So I've gotten up to 15 minutes and then we cut it off, hang up, move to our next topic, and I'll call back
Oh,
in.
okay.
Everyone calls back in, and we do it, and then I'll put it together at the end of the show.
Okay. And
So
then now I know some other people that were using Anchor, and I thought they had said, I thought we talked about this, that they had changed it to longer than 15 minutes, but that's obviously not, you're using that as almost a way to engineer the breaks for your segments.
yeah, I did it that way because we didn't have a choice at the beginning, and truthfully, I don't trust Anchor because
Mhm.
even after they said they increased it, you would just get booted.
And you would
Um,
be talking at 20-minute mark, 30-minute mark, thinking they were recording, and it's not. And now you just wasted, all that real organic conversation. And it's just, you can't recreate that. It's just gone, right?
well, the good thing about it is, Sean and I would talk back and forth. So when Sean doesn't answer, I'm like, "Hello, hello."
Oh, okay. So you're disconnected. So it's not like you can go on, because that would
Yeah.
be worse. You go on for like an hour and you find out it only recorded 10 minutes or something. That would suck.
Oh, that would really suck. But the bad part is, all right, this is a break. All right, we spoke for 4 minutes. Do we start over and try to have an organic conversation for four
Yeah.
minutes ago?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Exactly.
it cuts off again after 2 minutes. And you're like, no, we're not starting over. We'll just keep going. We'll acknowledge that the thing jacked up and hope people understand that this is how this works, you know? Once I crack open Tony's computer, and hopefully, Artisan Tony donated a computer to us, which is great. Um, Maybe it has the ability to work better than my laptop because I have problems with that, and maybe we can go somewhere else that isn't as fickle as Anchor. Um, the funny thing about Anchor, though, is on Spotify. If you listen to the Anchor, our podcast on Spotify, Anchor has like a 30-second commercial at the end talking about how great they are. But meanwhile, you listen to our show and talk about how badly it sucks.
Well, I mean, it's nice to have tools, but yeah, it's better when they're consistent for sure. Um, have you guys thought about doing it over here, or is it just too much of a pain to do it with all the weird Google stuff?
With us, it's both of us have to get on the same page. Our schedules are jacked up. And we don't talk as much. It's funny. We spoke more before we had a podcast together. This my Sean is my best friend, so we talk every day. And then we got the podcast going, and we don't talk every day. So it's hilarious. It's like we talk like 5 minutes, so we don't really discuss this much business unless it's classes, diversity shoots, or shows we're doing.
Okay, I mean that's valid. I mean, I had that exact same situation because we started back in at the beginning of everything we did. I guess it was I'm trying to remember now, 99, 2000 ish, and it was really just I was making videos to share with my friends back east who couldn't do stuff that we could do out here shooting wise, and then it got more. I had my friends helping out and stuff. They enjoyed it, and it became like a labor, right? A task, and it's something that you
Mm-hmm.
like to do, but because it's something that takes time and it's, I guess, regimented, I guess, to some extent, and willingly. It's not like anybody's doing it under duress or anything, but because we all have regular lives and everybody's got family and stuff, like that takes away time from just going out and having fun and playing. And yeah, that changes relationships quite a bit. I mean, I hope that that's something that we can touch on in these workshops, because it's certainly something that affects everybody, and something that hopefully we can share and not have some of the issues, like the negative stuff that some of us experienced when people get burnt out or have unrealistic expectations, or goals diverge and that kind of thing, because that's the kind of stuff that is uncomfortable sometimes to talk about. It's boring to talk about, but to have a strong Second Amendment media, we need to overcome the petty stuff. And if people can learn from each other's little, issues, then that's awesome. So it's interesting that you brought that up. And I mean, we don't have to dig into it or nothing. I don't care. It's just that I think it's good to throw some light on stuff like that, because it's not easy for anybody to just go out unless there's massive fanfare and it's just all wins. It's difficult to keep
Yeah.
your head in the game and work together as a team when, like I say, there's just so much stuff happening.
It's like he lives in PA. I live in Jersey. We run classes out of Fort Dix. I'm trying to find other ranges to run events out of besides Gun for Hire and Fort Dix. Since Fort Dix is a range 14 on Fort Dix is an Air Force, it's owned by the military. They allow civilians to shoot there. But one of the things you can't do is have political meetings there. I can't have my diversity shoot there because we're talking about the Second Amendment, and I'm introducing people to Second Amendment groups. They can't do it on the range, so that range is out. So now we have to find other ranges. Sean lives in PA, which almost is like 2 hours away from anything I can do here. So we have to meet halfway. So last week we're at Cobra Run Tactical, which is up in northern New Jersey, and we might be able to do some things out of there. But Jersey has 3 regions, maybe even 4, depends on how you count them. So some people won't be able to get there from Central and South Jersey. You know what I mean? So I have to promote it to people in North Jersey. It's logistics. It's trying to make something happen that everyone says they want to happen. I mean, by ranges, say they want it to happen. But then when I tell them what they need to do, they get glossy-eyed. It's like, yeah, you can't charge everyone the same fee as you charge an individual person coming, because we're trying to introduce people to this. Sure, if you charge $65 for an individual visit, great, but I'm bringing 40 people, you know? Um, can you help me out? I'm bringing 40 people. Can we do it for something much lower, just as introductory? And those people can come back later and become members, or, join your range. But I'm trying to just get their feet wet, tip their toe in the water, so they can see what a range is like, so that they can see it's clean, well lit. It's not full of rednecks with beards and plaid T-shirts, and looking like Duck Dynasty, and not wanting anyone else to be in their range unless they look like Duck Dynasty.
Secret handshake or some kind of
Yeah,
initiation.
I mean,
Yeah.
people have all kinds of things built up in their head about what an actual range is like, and I'm trying to introduce them to clean ranges and modern ranges. So yeah, if you have a little dusty, dirty range with bad air, I really don't want to bring a new shooter there. Sorry. I mean, look, shooters can go there. I mean, I've been to enough of them, but that's not the introduction to shooting you want to make. So that's what we're trying to do. And you got to get other ranges on board. And some people, I mean, it's a mom and pop business for the most part, ranges are. And when you're dealing with mom and pop, they think they know best for everything. And I'm like, I'm trying to grow your business and I'm trying to grow the Second Amendment community. And some of these people that own the ranges go, I do good enough. You know what? I don't need this here. I don't
Yeah,
need to bring a bunch of people in.
it's frustrating when you don't have a ton of ranges. I'm assuming you don't have a ton of ranges to choose from, but you've got some that are awesome, right? And
Yeah.
you've got leads on some that sound like they're interested. I've got one too. I don't know how close are you to where New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York all hit? I'm gonna go look at the map and see what the name of that town is.
Right up north somewhere, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming
If it's New York, Jersey, and Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a name of a town there I visited when I was going to the castle up in New York and met a shop there. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of this town. Go to screen share here. Can you see my computer? So let's see. Scranton, and it's south of Scranton. I can't tell where New Jersey stops here. It was north of all this. It must be here, right? So this is Hudson River and stuff. So it was.
Tri-States Rockport, Jarvis.
Oh, here we go. Newborough. I think this is the town. Is this the town? Yeah, it must be. Where's Scranton? Oh, is it? No, this is New York already, so it must be. Oh, Port Jarvis. That's where it
Port
is.
Jarvis, yeah. That's what I got.
Have you heard of that place? Are you far from there?
If it's where you saying it is, yeah.
You're not anywhere near there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm. Put the cursor on top of where Port Jarvis is.
Uh-huh.
Just leave it there.
Where did it go?
Oh, holy crap!
There. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
at the
I'm
very
south.
northern tip.
Yeah, I'm south of where the map says New York.
Okay, so you're
Like
in
New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in that area.
Because I just found a cool shop up here. I was heading into New York, and I knew I couldn't take my gun. I didn't want to take my guns into New York, and I wasn't going to be there very long. And I had planned on doing something else, and that fell through. So I ended up, with the help of Pink, finding this gun shop, and it was a roller skating rink that had been abandoned or whatever, closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy turned it into a gun shop, and it's literally right here on the border. So I was able to leave my guns there for a cleaning and go into New York and come back and pick them up from that FFL, and in the midst of chatting with him, his plans are to have like a rental range there so that people from New York can experience full auto and rifle shooting the same way that people in like Vegas have rentals,
Mm-hmm.
Florida have recreational rental stuff. So I thought that was pretty neat. So that would definitely be a shop or a range, but he doesn't really have a range yet, and yeah, it doesn't sound like it's right next to you or anything.
But that's something, truthfully, that's something that I would look at as we promoted all year. We come up with the dates. Yeah, it's like a 2-hour drive for me.
Okay.
We'd come up with the dates and we just promote it all year. If he has machine guns and stuff, and we'd have to work out prices and how much it would cost, and try to turn it into something that people just look forward to. Just pump it out as a big machine gun shoot event. But yeah, because everybody's going to be 2 hours or so away from it for the most part.
Tony, we got 2 Tonys in here, so if we get a third Tony, could be better. We can make jokes. I'm gonna.
Feels good.
We had a suggestion from Patriot in the Dark, who has a link to this, and he might be out there. But he suggested what people could have done for Tulsa, but what we still could do, or people who are going to NRA still could do, is go buy 2A for everyone, 2A for E shirts off of, dang it, what's the name of that?
1022clothing.us.
Thanks. And yeah, those are cool because they're uniform, right? They're blue, they're easy to see, they're cool, and they got a good message on them, and they support a good cause, and they're $10. And we weren't sure how fast they'd ship. I ordered 2 yesterday, and they're already in the mail. So sounds like we will get them before NRA. If anybody's interested that's attending NRA and wants to wear a shirt that's actually gonna, if they're in a picture or something that's going to be of value to a 2A group, Tony Simon and 284E. I'd highly recommend it. $10. I mean, I still see you should be charging $20 for those shirts. I would have gladly paid $40 instead of 20. But
well, we're working on it.
it's awesome that you're doing that, though, and that's a suggestion for anybody heading to NRA. If you'd like to wear a shirt that's economical, there's no disgrace to the American flag on it at all. Appreciate that. It's in an awesome color and in real sizes. Just 100% awesome idea. Thanks, Patriot. And if I was going to NRA, I'd be definitely wearing that shirt. I'll be wearing them.
Thanks, Patriot. Yeah, man. It's like, I want to make it inexpensive. I want people to get in on this. I'm trying to knock down as many barriers as I can to get people in. So yeah, I didn't charge for the first few years. Now it's, I get $10. The range gets $10 when you purchase a ticket. Thank you. It's not a lot of money, but I was doing it for $0, hoping to attract more people. And once we start charging $20, it didn't stop the flow of people. Everybody was like, that's what you should have been doing in the first place. When we do our Minuteman Challenge, again, it's a friendly, laid-back shooting competition. If you've never competed before, it makes no difference. It's not like you have to buy thousands or hundreds of dollars worth of gear just to compete, and then you're going to be competing against pros. It's 2 mags, 200 rounds, and your gun. And if you don't have one, we'll provide it. We had 10-year-old girl competing in this thing, for Christ's sakes. And it's just fun. And you end up talking to other guys. You can shoot other guns. No one's in that serious of a competition that they're not going to let you shoot their gun. So now you're meeting people like you, and you're doing something that's fun. Then we invite you to a diversity shoot. You come out if you want, and you can shoot other guns and meet other people. And it's just opening up that social circle and making it more and more relevant, your gun. If you had one, your granddad's shotgun, or you bought an AR when Obama first got elected and haven't done anything with it because you didn't even belong to a range. Well, come on out. I have reasons for you to shoot at least 6 times a year with that AR. So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to grow the community, get gun owners that don't vote or don't look at their gun as really being relevant. It's just that thing they bought that one time and haven't taken it out the sock drawer yet. Well, I got that for you too. We shoot pistols when we do some of the Minuteman challenges. We're working on running gunning with your Minuteman challenge. So we want people to enjoy the sport and hobby of shooting, but also be active politically in making sure it stays alive, and making it easy for them to bring their friends out who've never shot before. Because that's one of the things. You shoot, you enjoy shooting, you go out like twice a year. Well, now your friend wants to tag along, but you're like, I'm not really sure what I should be telling you. I don't know what's right and wrong, with safety rules. I just know what I do. Come to a diversity shoot. We'll run through safety brief before your friend can get to shooting. Our Minuteman challenges are small enough. We know everyone. So if you're a new guy, we'll run through a safety brief for you and just keep an eye on you while you run your drills. Everybody will. Not to just be that guy that jumps on you, but to guide you and help you, because what we're trying to do is make friends, grow a community. We've been pretty successful with it.
Oops.
Minuteman Challenge grows a lot, and we have people from every background. I even have a shooting team from 3 Gun that just wants to do it because it's low stress and seems like fun.
That's pretty cool too, because then they bring a whole bunch of experience in a chill environment. So they're, like you say, it's like not even competition. It's just coaching opportunity for people that are, if you go to a match and you're shooting with people that are, shooters, competition shooters,
Mm-hmm.
They're all ahead in the game. Something like this, you give them an option to kind of relax a bit, take it down a couple of notches. It's pretty cool.
Yep. And then there's our championship, which is just awesome, if I may say so myself. We provide all the firearms. So you don't bring anything. So you have no idea what you will be shooting, what drills you will be running. You could come in and have to shoot a 22 single action revolver, and then switch up. Your next event is going to be like a lever action, then followed up by AR or bullpup, or it's like we just keep introducing things. Last year we finished off with a 50 cal, so we just keep it going, man. We try to make it into something that we want to attend, and then people show up and go, "Holy crap, this is a bunch of fun! I'll see you next year." And I'm like, yes.
I got a question for you, Tony.
Hmm.
You said earlier, I heard you say something about an Air Force range or a range that was owned by the Air Force, and you said you couldn't shoot there because of some political issues.
We can't hold the diversity shoot there, so we train people there, and we have our Minuteman Challenge there. But if it's political, we can't do it there.
Well, can't you
So,
sort of do it under the radar, like say we're going to go there and shoot and do our thing, and then go to later to a coffee shop or something and do the political stuff? Or
oh, we could probably do that. Actually, never thought about doing it that way, mainly because the base is so far away from everyone. It's like everyone's equally annoyed by how far they have to travel. And truthfully, I'd never thought about doing it that way. I'd have to find somewhere to host it, and we can do, some talking in probably 20 minutes. Hey, thanks, y'all.
I was just curious. I didn't know if they had people like monitoring the,
Well, it's in the classroom. The classroom is attached to the office. So yeah, no, we won't be able to do that because the guys walk through for lunch and walk through, for the bathroom.
And
So
it would
if
be a
I'm
concern
talking-
from like feedback or something, even if inadvertently somebody mentioned something and it
Mhm.
got back to somebody who's got a bug up their butt or like just knows that there's an issue, then they could end it.
Yeah, one of the guys, of course, again, it's a military base. So you have a lot of retired military. And one retired admiral got a bee in his bonnet, and I'm trying not to curse, so I'd say that. I go back to 50s slang. Got a bee in his bonnet over the fact that they had NRA flyers in a holder, you know what I mean, near their bulletin board. Oh, that's political. You can't have that there. I'm like, the NRA donated $6,000 to this range for the rebuild, dude, and all it is a flyer that says you can join the NRA. Yep.
besides they're
Almost fired.
moderate Democrats. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah, whatever. Dude. It's guys. It's
just
nice. That's funny though. But yeah, this guy was a real pain in the butt, so they had to take it down, and they threatened to fire the guy that ran the range based on that. So I'm not going to ruin a 7-year relationship. Well, we can figure out something else. But it is a good
Certainly
idea
an
to find
issue,
somewhere.
and when we're in the minority disadvantaged position, then we're happy to have ranges, at all. We have to play that kind of game, right? But as there's more momentum and there's more people shooting and stuff, I think we'll see less concern about petty stuff like that. At least
What I'm finding is a lot more ranges are coming up in Jersey, but I think many of them are either private, so they have to go through their struggles too, just to open up. And but in the last 4 years, they've probably been 5 ranges that I know of off the top of my head that have opened or are open. So for some reason, as horrible as this state is, they're guys that are trying to actually open businesses here and sell guns and run ranges. So that's great. So if we can work together and I can have, a few of them running in the state, that's great. But I still need to get into Maryland. I still need to get into PA, and I still want to get into New York. As a warning to the people in PA, and just as behind the enemy lines work in New York and Maryland, and eventually Delaware too. It's just behind the iron curtain of these freedom haters that are on the East Coast.
Well, I live in Maryland, and I've been listening to you. I had a chance to Midnight Range introduced us at the Great American Outdoor Show. I was the little guy that he was with, and and I'd love to help you out if you come down to Maryland. I definitely want to do whatever I can to support your projects and do whatever I can to help out because we definitely could use whatever help we can get down here.
Yeah, man, it's uniting and waking up gun owners to make them be politically active. Like, dude, this is you. You know, it's like don't wait for someone else to help. It's you that has to help. And then that's what our event is about. And it gets them shooting. And now they're meeting. Like I went and I've had training down in Maryland. I got trained at the IOTA training. That's where I had my Utah. It's near some of your rock quarries. It's out in that direction, in Marriottsville or something like that, Maryland. I don't know if you know where it is or not.
Is there more people in Maryland or in Jersey?
For what?
Just population.
Oh,
Maryland bigger?
I'm
Just or north
assuming.
is bigger?
I'm assuming Jersey's bigger. Jersey has like 9 million.
The IOTA Training Academy is, I could
Yeah.
walk there in 15 minutes.
Yep, that's where I went. What's his name? Brown, I think is his last name. Courtney, and I forgot the husband's name. But yeah, good people. They had us out there. They had me out there, and I got training out there. And really, I just want the thing to grow, man. I want to be able to show up. We put booties in seats. People start shooting. They get introduced to the local Second Amendment groups. And if NRA, ILA can make it out, great. So you can talk to a national level, grassroots, or at least NRA, ILA is not grassroots, but they support grassroots organizations. And you see their names, and you blow up that internet nonsense about the entire NRA doesn't care. I'm like, there's a lot of different NRAs. There's the NRA ILA, there's the Friends of the NRA, and then there's big NRA with Wayne LaPierre. I think they suck too.
Wayne
I
LaPierre
think
is
they
part of
suck
all
too.
of them. He's like president of the NRA, right? So there's Cox is the ILA. I don't know if the NRA has anybody, but like LaPierre isn't he? He's not even like the actual president because well, it used to be what's his name now? Who is it?
It
They
was
just
Pete Brownells. I don't.
well, this
Oh,
Brownells and
Oliver North.
what's his
Oliver
Oliver
North.
North? No, I thought it switched again, or is it North still?
Oh,
No, I think it is
I
North.
don't know.
But
I tried to listen to him the other day, and it was just sad listening to a
but that's
downgrade
the
old
actual
dude.
president of the NRA. Like they have an interesting hierarchy or whatever. I'm gonna throw a palate cleanser out there for everybody that's listening. Get people moving on these chats. Again, this isn't designed to entertain you. We're not a telethon, to invite a bunch of people to give you a sob story or a cheer you up story or nothing. We're here to talk about how to further our Second Amendment by each of us grabbing our phones and becoming part of this conversation. So be part of it with the text chats out there and a way to get you working with your thumbs or your keyboards there. Maryland has 12 million square miles. New Jersey has 8 million, well, almost 9 million square miles. But which one has the bigger population, New Jersey or Maryland? Tony, Artisan Tony.
Jersey. Oh,
Artisan Tony first. What do you
I
think?
would have said Jersey.
Okay, Kingpin
I'm going to go ahead and vote for New Jersey as well.
and Tony, other Tony. Sorry.
Jersey.
Okay.
Too many big cities.
So population of New Jersey, 8.9 million. Population of the Maryland, 6 million. So yeah, New Jersey, even though it's smaller.
Mhm. Yep.
It's gonna make sense
But,
because I haven't ever been in New Jersey. I don't think I might have been there when I was a little kid, but I don't remember. But I've never, as an adult, stepped foot in New Jersey, and I don't know what it's like. But I know Maryland. I've been in it a bunch of times, and it's certainly forested. I mean, it might be bigger, but it's bigger because it has a bunch of hills and forests and stuff too.
Yeah, Jersey has Newark, Trenton, Camden. That's, probably 1 million people right there in those 3 cities. And then you can just bounce into even like slightly smaller cities, but spread out like where Giant Stadium is. That's the caucus. That has a butt ton of people in it and money. And we have pharmaceutical companies and oil companies and all of that here. Like it's a major importer of a lot of stuff. So that's why it's bigger. But the sad part is the 1 million gun owners that we have in the state are mostly inactive. I mean, can you imagine a voting bloc 1 million strong in the state with 9 million people? We'd be unstoppable. We would be feared as a political entity. And
You'd be
You can't get
emulated
400
too.
people. What
You'd
would
be
be?
emulated because the other states that are kicking the ground and saying, "Oh shucks," would see that and emulate it. You'd inspire them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, it would pull a bunch of states like Maryland, Delaware, and then snatch Pennsylvania away from the blue precipice that it is dangling on right now with their anti-gun laws swinging left and right. I mean, you have Pittsburgh right now totally violating the Pennsylvania Constitution by passing an assault weapons ban. They can't do that. Pennsylvania's Constitution doesn't even say cannot be infringed. It say will not be questioned. It's like, well, nothing more of a question than a magazine. I mean, an assault weapons ban. Like, it is 100% illegal what the mayor of Pittsburgh is doing, and he should be arrested. I mean, it's treasonous. I don't know what else you're supposed to do when they violate state constitution. And the governor co-signed onto it and said, "Oh, right on." It's
To hold them
insane.
accountable, like say. We got comments coming in, and Dead Horse wants me to read them. So first off, you said you rock, and thanks so much for what you're doing for the 2A and for 2A beginners. You're an inspiration, and Dead Horse believes that we should all be following the lead and uh, doing something locally to bring people on board like you're doing. Um, Obviously, you've got a bunch of stuff going on, and we could talk about the laptop. Kingpin, you jumped in if you want to bring up topics. But if there's no other topics, or if you want to kick this one till on the list for bring some other stuff up, have you thought about franchising? Do you get contacted by people from other parts of the country that are doing something similar that want to share notes or?
Yeah. I've gotten contacted. I'm actually opening the box now that Tony sent me. I've gotten contacted by Aaron Paulette from Pink Pistols and Operation Blazing Sword. She's been like, "Hey, let me know when you get your paperwork done, so we can go ahead and do the 501c3 thing." I'm like, "Great." Who else? I got a guy in Oklahoma. I have someone in California. I think I have someone in PA. All want to be a part of this as soon as I figure out how to do it. Like, how do you start a charity,
Well,
franchise it, and then ensure that it's ran like it's supposed to be?
yeah, it's hard to make instructions for something that is a bunch of dedication and evolution and like probably trial and error, right? And a
No
lot.
money. Yeah, and no money. I mean, you have to be passionate about it. Trial and error days, going to different ranges, always being so. I mean, I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying I put a lot of work in, and I don't worry about getting paid because this is my passion. How do you franchise your passion out and have someone else willing to put that kind of work in locally to make a diversity shoot work in like 2 or 3 ranges in their state?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering because you can't be the only one. There's other people doing things that are, you know, maybe outreach to kids or maybe taking old folks. I live down in Arizona where there's a whole bunch of people that retire down here. I got to
Mm-hmm.
assume Florida's like that and other places. There's probably people that take people out for like therapy and just to give them something to do, take them out to a range. On the both ends from the kids and the old people. And, um, there's got to be other people out there doing it. I wonder how we reach those people and get y'all to knock your heads together and see, oh, you know what, this worked for all of us, and this certainly didn't work for any of us. And try to come up with some like, generic recipe or strategy for somebody to initiate something. Because that's a lot of, like I said, that's a lot to add to ask somebody is like, hey, you're successful. Give us the blueprint to that. Like, well, like you say, like, well, start with 23 hours in a day and start minus in 6 to sleep maybe, and then
Yeah, it's funny because people have asked me that. Like, how do you do it? And I'm like, dude, it's not me. It's everyone else that helps this. It's everyone else that sees what I'm doing and wants to be a part of it, which is awesome. Like companies that back me up without anything in return. I mean, Car Arms, man. The owner of Car Arms, Mr. Moon, didn't even blink an eye. He was like, okay, here, with a personal note from him, like, hey, these, I hope they work out for you. I'm talking to the freaking dude that owns a multi-million, what, 3, 4 companies? I don't even know how many companies Carr is.
That's pretty cool. I
And he
never
was like,
heard
yeah,
you say that before. That's pretty impressive. That says a lot for the company. I like that.
yeah. He was like, okay, okay. Who else did Henry? It took a little while for Henry, but they did it. And of course, High Point, who were awesome. I was blindsided by them. Like, here, take this, and here is about 50 pounds of clothing and hats and stuff just to give away. And here's our flyers, and here's 2 carbines. Actually, 3. Take them. I'm like, oh, okay. So it makes me really humble and it blows me away. So I try to get these things out to people. I'm like, you can win a High Point carbine, become a Patreon. Um,
Well, don't be too humble because that's an indication of how valuable they see your effort and how valid it is. And also, I'm hoping not an indication of how singular it is. Hopefully there's others out there, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're not doing that for just anybody that walks up to the door. So that's
yeah,
pretty
well, yeah. It is pretty cool, but it makes me work even harder, you know? It's like, all right, now I got to get here. Now I have to jack up my Patreon. And I can't do it through my phone. And now, because of this gigantic laptop that I just unwrapped from Tony, Artist and Tony, holy crap, dude. This thing is big.
You gotta make sure it works first.
Yeah, okay. Hey, man, I'm just happy with all the bubble wrap I'm going to pop later to get on my wife's nerves. There's like 25 feet of bubble wrap in this thing. Oh, she going to punch me in the face.
Speaking of getting on your wife's nerves, Ghost is finding us from Arkansas. Thanks for jumping.
Ironically, I'm getting on because I was getting on my wife's nerves, so I thought I would get out of her way.
I was curious,
Yep.
Tony, are there private ranges? What's the percentage of like private versus like public ranges up there?
There's a lot of private ranges. All right. It's a lot of private ranges and they're expensive. And I'm talking like $700,000 buy-ins to be members of the range. Yeah. And then you have to volunteer for like a year cleaning up and stuff. And that was one of the bigger problems when we started this. Thank goodness for Anthony at Gun for Hire, who was like, just come up and do it. Because I couldn't even get in the door. Some of the places I'm ringing the doorbell and nobody's there. If you're a member of the range, you get a key fob. I still didn't figure out where you go to get into this range, and it's like 15 minutes away from my house. So yeah, a lot of private ranges, like mostly private ranges. So when we started out training people in 2012, we were doing it on what we call the farm. It was a friend's property and it was a farm. So we were training people there. And then some of the nosy neighbors got involved, and instead of causing them trouble, we struggled to find a range. I found one in PA. That one closed down almost immediately because it was a small range, and how do I say it? They weren't being forthcoming with how they said we could be there, but it ended up one of the range members running NRA classes out of the range and didn't tell the other people there. So when they cleared us to run classes out of the range, he saw us as competition and shut it down completely. And it was really upsetting. And then we found range 14 and we were able to do it there, but we can't host political stuff there. So it's good on one end. We can do Minuteman challenges and we can train people. That's great. Just for diversity shoots, got to find other places to do it. Hey, you roll with the punches.
But it's not like when you're at the range, you're picketing the range, right? I mean, I don't understand the issue with the political stuff. If you're just there to shoot, it's not like you're not protesting the range, right? I mean,
no, but what it comes down to is this is a military range. When the Army ran it, when it was actually Fort Dix, now it's Joint Base something other. But when it was just the Army running it, they didn't care. But when the Air Force came on, how do I say it without like talking out of school? They're not happy to have civilians be able to come on the base and shoot at a range. They'd rather for it not to happen. So when somebody comes and gets all uptight over it, they just try to avoid it. They just no political organizing at all. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm cool. Whatever. I don't want to lose what we already have. So I work around it.
I guess like if it's like our rifle club, I can only take like one guest at a time. So even if we did like a fundraiser and got a membership to the range, it's not like you could have 20, 30 people out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. With us, yeah. At Fort Dix, you have members, and then you have paying. I mean, to join is $65 a year. That's what makes it so awesome. But yeah, we just can't run our thing out, and I'm cool with it. I like your idea though. Maybe we can find somebody we can host it on a weekend and have a diversity shoot on a weekend, and then have a meeting somewhere else afterwards. I kind of like that, or even before, and then shoot in the afternoon.
You want to come to
I
Arkansas?
don't know if it changed everywhere, but here in Maryland, we had what was called Andrews Air Force Base. And I
Mhm.
never went on base for firearms related stuff. I had contractor related stuff there. And once it changed to joint base Andrews, all the rules changed and it became far, far stricter to get onto. And a lot of the other regulations changed. So I could see how the political end of the firearms thing would have been a problem once it switched over.
Yeah, it's funny because it was Fort Dix, Lakehurst was the Navy base, and no, it wasn't McNair. It was I forgot the Air Force base, but it was Mech something, and they just kept calling it Joint Base, and I'm like, after dealing with them, I'm like, it's McDickhurst. This place is McDickhurst because they have so many rules, and it's just bureaucracy from 3 different branches, or 4 if you count the Marine Corps, all coming together, and it's like, who can make up the most rules, and
Marines
that's what
always screw.
happened there.
I agree. The Marines always screw things up.
Oh, dude, we leave rules
Easy.
alone. We leave rules alone till the wheels fall off. I mean, somebody usually has to die or crash a jet
Yeah,
for us to
exactly.
start making rules.
Well, maybe
What
with 3 people,
rules?
it's really not dangerous yet. But
Yeah,
we
nobody's dead.
lost any access to ranges here in Tucson years and years and years ago. So I'm impressed that you still have. And here it's like people that can go shoot on the ranges here are grandfathered, from permissions from the olden days, like really a long time ago. And that's cool that you even have access because, I mean, it would be great if those ranges were open to everybody all the time, like a public range. But with the stupid, whatever, 9/11 changes, Homeland Security weirdness, like they act like these things are all under attack all the time now.
Uh-huh. Well, for Fort Dix, they actually had uh they had a guy who worked at a pizzeria who was of Middle Eastern descent, doing some weird stuff, training up in the Poconos with his friends, and they had video of him shooting AKs and other rifles and screaming Ali Akbar and stuff. And then he was deliver pizzas on base and had maps with stuff sketched on them. He got arrested. And I'm laughing because it's like, was he really a serious terrorist, or was he just jacking around with his buddies, or did he have a map just to show shortcuts between point A and point B when people ordered a pizza? You know what I mean? And then you throw on top of it, he's training with firearms and saying Ali Akbar, and it's like, yo, dude, you just mixed everything up to ensure you're going to jail. Like, it wasn't
Hey,
like he had a serious threat or a hit list, you know?
hey, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Would you be interested in bringing diversity shoot to Arkansas, or is that too far?
Oh, dude, that's far. I mean,
All right,
I look
all
at
right.
it. We might be
Hey,
able to do something next year, mainly because I'm looking at the
yeah,
days I have this year for the diversity shoots. NRA, I'm going up to see Kevin Dixie, and then I'm taking more days off for the Costa training that I'm having. Chris Costa's training here in North Jersey, and I'm taking that. So that's a lot of days off already this year,
That's
without counting emergencies and family stuff.
How do we get Ghost to go up and train with Costa? You'd enjoy that.
that would be when is that?
Heck, I just had it on my Instagram. It's May 28th, end of May.
That's Memorial Day weekend, I think, something like that.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I
Roughly.
mean, I went
I don't know.
from the Marine Corps to working for my family's business, so I don't know what a holiday is.
Yeah, look at that.
Let me see. Where is it? May 3rd and 5th. May 3rd through the 5th.
That's the week. That's in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Thanks. I'll look into that one.
Yeah. So that should be interesting because it's 2,000 rounds of 5.56 and like 200 rounds of pistol, I think he said. And I'm going to be doing it with the owners of Modern Material. It's like the only place in Jersey that builds AR-15s that I know about right now. I'm going to be using one of their rifles so I could do a review on it because it's always about material and introducing people. And Modern Materials has helped us out a lot. It's one of those companies that's built on a personal relationship that met us at, New Jersey Firearms Educational Conference. And Joe was like, look, anything to help. I like what you're doing. Just let me know. And when we told him about the Minuteman Challenge, he was like, why don't I bring a bunch of my rifles out and let the guys shoot them? And when I told him about the diversity shoot, he was like, I'll bring my guns there and let people and introduce them to, the guns there. And I just thought that was awesome because he's burning up, his time, his ammo. It's like an hour and a half for a 2-hour trip for him just to get to the range. It's awesome because all of this is built by just people-to-people contact. So when people look at it and go, wow, Tony, how did you get here? I'm like, friends. That's how I got here. Friends. They want to help. They want to be part of this. And that's why I try to tell people that's involved. Getting involved is just not showing up at a rally and freezing. It's hanging out with people you've made friends with. And that just makes it, to me, makes it so much better. You're going to a range, a protest in Trenton. It's going to rain or it's going to be cold or it's going to be hot, but there's like 6 of your friends there. After the rally, you can go eat. You know what I mean? And just hang out with people that are like you. And I don't think a lot of people realize that's what happens at these events. Gun community is more of a fellowship. It can be more of a fellowship than just dudes shooting at square pieces of paper and then going home. And that's what I try to grow, and that's what I try to express to people. And that's why I do so many things, because I enjoy it, and I want to show that enjoyment to others. You don't have to be in the competition shooting, but I'm taking up hunting later on this year just to learn how to freaking do it. Maybe you want to do that, or you're not into pistols or ARs, but you love shotguns. Well, we shoot plays too. Like, let's come out and do this. You know what I mean? Get involved. You'll learn.
I'm going to play host and introduce the show again since we're kind of at the top of the hour a bit. This is a 2A media workshop. I run these every Tuesday and every Saturday. We put them on gunchannels.com, which is a community we built a while back for collaborations like this, where people that create content about firearms or the Second Amendment can get together and talk shop, post their stuff, get some extra reach, and interact with their audiences. We use all the platforms that are out there, and we use as many tools as possible. Many people understand that as individuals, we have a valuable contribution to the conversation, and this is an important year, 2019, heading up into 2020. So I'd like to get it back on the focus of the workshop again. And you guys are going to be heading to NRA. At least a lot of you are heading to NRA. And you just had some experience with Tulsa, recently had some experience with SHOT Show, both with traveling and covering the show and running your projects and funding everything. So there's so many things we could talk about. But since we are heading up to NRA, especially those of you guys that are heading there, I think Clover, Ghost, Tony for sure. Am I missing anybody who's going to NRA? Or isn't Tony Kingpin?
Not this year. All my money's going into 2afund.com.
Right on. But you guys can use this platform to come up with some ideas, like Patriots' idea of everybody buying Tony Simon's 2A for everyone, 2A for E shirt. I'm going to post a link again, and I'll screen share here so everybody can see what we're talking about. It's let's call it infantry blue for Mike out there, right? The infantry blue T-shirt has the 2A for E logo, which is pretty easy to identify, and it's not super gun in your face or nothing, but it's gun. It has gun control equals racism, which is awesome. Gives somebody something to talk about if they're of the the inclination. And for $10, you can get it any size all the way up to 6XL, which is awesome. And I really like the idea of wearing something. If you're going to wear a T-shirt, why not? If you're going to be in a picture, if you're going to be doing anything, if you're just going to be representing, yourself and at an event like that, having some consistency perhaps for group pictures, but definitely to promote a valuable effort. And for $10, and just to really any concerns, I've ordered a couple yesterday. They're already in the mail today. So you probably, I can't guarantee nothing, but I'm assuming, well, I'm going to give it to Patriot anyway, Daniel. But I guess it was Daniel technically. But anyway, I think that's a great idea. Thanks, Daniel. And I just want to keep throwing that out there. I'll throw the link in the chat, but we have a link in the permanent description of this video. So if you're watching this on gunstreamer.com, which is where we're going to post this as soon as it's over, a valid 2A video hosting platform, or on the one that hates our property, hates the laws that we appreciate, hates our freedoms, right? Or on gunchannels.com, where we've already got links to it, then you can grab links to the shirt and buy one. Tony doesn't make enough money. It should say $20 there, but we'll keep bugging him about that. But anyway, you guys are going to NRA. Is there anything that you can have learned recently or can do to make NRA as effective as possible for everything?
I I encourage people to go and get there Thursday, but I'm just a dude that loves going to the air gun range they have there and just having some fun, shooting air guns that cost from $50 up to like $2,000. They have those on the air gun range, and you just get to check that out. I enjoy that, and they will have the NRA store open on Thursday, so you can get in and pick out stuff and get out before it's packed for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's what I've done for the couple of years I've gone. Oh, and booking through NRA is a bad idea. If you go to their page, it's like way more expensive than booking hotels and stuff on your own.
Yeah, it's got to be some sort of kickback thing, right? Like, oh, here's the cheapest hotels, wink, 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 and then they get $10 a room or something.
Yeah, because that's what I did. I went through it for Kentucky. I was like, okay, I'll find out. All right, NRA says these hotels are available. The closest one is in Indiana, across the bridge. I booked it. It was way expensive. It was a disgusting Sheraton. Like, when we walked in the room, you look for the dead hooker in the room, or we just try to figure out whether we were too early or they'd already taken the dead hooker out, but we were definitely sure there was dead hookers in that room. And my wife was like, I'm not staying here. And I was like, but there are no hotels. There's 80,000 people coming for NRA. My wife got on her phone in 5 minutes and found another hotel for us to go to. So yeah, something's up with their app. It was ridiculous. We went through it again in Georgia, and my wife was like, NRA, something's up. I don't know what's up, but something's up. So book it on your own.
Yeah, always best to book early too.
Yeah, so you're not desperate. And one of the things, now I haven't done it. My wife was creeped out by it, but Airbnbs are a thing if you roll in with a group. I mean, we're talking like $700 maybe for the entire time, $700 less for a house.
We got one for $100 a night.
See?
Yeah, VRBO is good too.
Yeah, that's what we used. I think it was anyway.
Yeah, I'm rolling solo, so that's what stinks. So it really doesn't help out much.
Out of curiosity, Clover, did you do Street View on what it looks like for $100?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there was like 30 pictures of it.
Okay.
What are you trying to say, Dino?
Indianapolis has its share of rundown areas.
I think
like
every city
any
has
major
those.
city. It just seemed very cheap, very inexpensive.
Well, it's up right outside of, I don't know, it's northeast of Indy. So can't remember the name of the.
I think between Clover and I don't think anyone really wants to step foot in that house while we're there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
not.
right? It's like, understand, every time there's an NRA annual meeting, there is almost no crime in those cities because people just assume everyone has a gun. Like 80,000 people showing up armed to the teeth. You don't want to mess with that.
So that brings up an interesting side point. What is the NRA or the show policy in regards to carry at the show?
I know in Atlanta you could.
And a rate policy that's up to the building and the city, so it depends on
Right.
Minneapolis side.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I asked, is because I know it's not always up to the who's paying for it, who owns the building in the city.
Yeah, so I have no idea, but yes, when the president comes, no, you can't go into that area armed. When I was in Atlanta, I'm like, do I go see the president speak, or do I carry my Glock 19? I'm from Jersey. I can't carry my gun out in public at all. I'm carrying my gun all the time down here in Atlanta. I'll watch the president in the green room, and that's what I did. I'm like, I'm carrying my gun. I get to do this. I don't get to do it in Jersey, so I'm testing out this crossbreed.
So let me ask you, since you are from Jersey and you normally can't carry, do you feel odd when you're out in some other state carrying, or is that past?
Oh, that's passed. But I carry at the house. I mean, I put it on so it's not, because I remember the very first time I carried and couldn't stop touching my gun or pulling my shirt down. And I really didn't want to be that guy when I went out in public. So I walk around my house and I carry my firearms here. So I can get over that, get over that adjustment part. But it is a little bit, not strange, but different.
Psychologically
Like, wow.
uncomfortable? Because I'm from Illinois and we didn't have concealed carry till 2014. So I didn't start carrying till then, and felt very
I'm more aware
going out in public.
It's like I'm more aware that I'm carrying, but I mean, truth be told, I carried it illegally in New Jersey for 2 years when I first came up here because of my job. And that was frightening. You know what I mean? I knew I didn't have enough training to actually be carrying, but I was going to dangerous areas doing my job, which is a locksmith. So you got domestic disputes, you got house lockouts, you got evictions, and you have them in places that are high crime areas. And it's like, do I leave everything and get robbed and maybe killed, or do I pack heat and at least have the ability to fight back if I have to? So that was the thing. And, as I'm older now, I'm not doing that because I have too much to lose. But as a 23-year-old Marine Corps veteran, I was like, worst they can do is give me 4 years. I'll be 27 and alive. I'm good with that. But now at 49, I'm like, dude, I need to have a different mattress. I can't go to jail. It's like all that bravado's out the window now. It takes too long to get out of bed. I'm not getting locked up, and I'm too pretty for prison. So, Ghost, you coming out to see Costa?
I mean, if I could figure out a way to make it work in the next 3 weeks, I'd love to. But that's like the week after NRA, man.
Oh, don't I know it, baby.
I don't have unlimited funds,
I'm looking at it going, thank goodness it's a 2-hour one-way drive to get up there and take the class, but it's from like 7:30 in the morning till 5 or 6 o'clock at night.
See, that's something I'd love to do, man. As he said, it's in Jersey, right?
Yeah, it's in Jersey, but reload's gonna be something, baby. Chris Costa.
Oh, okay.
But it's gonna be remember, Jersey has a 10-round magazine limitation, plus all the dumb rules on our guns here. That's the annoying part. Can you imagine how many reloads you have to do in a 2,000 round count class with 10-round mags?
I mean, I'm gonna have to bring about 30 mags.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, that does bring up an interesting side question: is classes that are held in New Jersey, I'm assuming they modify what might be their normal routine, the instructors that are traveling, to account for 10-round magazines. Is that the case or no?
I took Rob Pincus's class last year in December, and he did, because the magazine ban actually kicked off December 10th or something like that. So most people had 10-round magazines by that time. And yeah, I mean, it was just according. Rob's whole thing is to put, 3 to 5 rounds, chains of fire. So great. Up, pow, 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 5 rounds. Up, pow, 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 reload. And that's just how it went. There are magazines all over the place. Luckily, I was the only hipster with a CZ75, so I didn't get my stuff confused with anyone. I'm
I
like,
don't
what's a
know
hipster?
how did Indiana wind up with the NRA 2 years in a row? That's what I want to know.
It was in
no way
Dallas last
Dallas
year.
gonna go to Illinois.
No, but they're getting it next year, right? Too.
What?
Isn't it
Are
going
they
to
getting
get?
it next year?
Nashville next year.
No, yeah, Nashville
yeah.
next year.
Are you?
Much
Okay, that's
closer.
great. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, that's great. That's what, a couple hours for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Tony like, hotel. I'm going home.
No, I stayed 2 years ago. It was it Nashville or 2 or 3, and
It was
we
like
stayed.
3 or 4, yeah.
We got a special deal at the Vanderbilt. It was really nice.
Ooh, the Vanderbilt.
The Vanderbilt.
The Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You take
Yeah, that
crumpets
way-
with your teeth, sir.
They had the bus, the trolley or whatever.
The Vanderbilt, where the water in your room is $10 instead of $5 for the 16-ounce water.
It's $5 to turn the shower on.
Dude, my wife and I checked into the hotel. We checked into the hotel Peachtree on Peachtree, the Marriott, and they had the water, and it was like $5. My wife said, "No matter what you do not touch that water. Don't even move it. Just leave it alone. We'll get our own. $5 can buy you 24 bottles."
Well, the
If you
truth is, I had procrastinated, and I didn't have any other choice. So,
But yeah, this is talking about going to NRA. I think one of the things is be aware of your surroundings. I was talking to a cop at NRA in Louisville, and I was talking about the hotel that I'd actually initially booked at, and the guy says, "Good thing you moved because they had a shooting there for someone who was attending the convention in Louisville, but was staying across the bridge in Indiana, and got robbed walking back to the hotel across the parking lot. He didn't know that the parking lot he was cutting through was known for people being mugged there because he wasn't from there. I mean, if the people from there didn't do that. They caught a ride back. They didn't walk through that parking lot. So be aware that you're on vacation somewhere that you don't know the local rules. So keep your head on a swivel and just be aware that you're not in Kansas anymore.
Oh, there. What's going on with this?
Well, let me go ahead. I put a question in the side chat. I don't know if everyone saw it, and the answer is no, or everybody saw it, or whatever. But anyone attending the Creator Summit, I'm not sure if that's what it's called or not, that Kevin Dixie's putting on come Memorial Day time.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I would if it wasn't Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been at the general facility that he's holding it at. And it's massive and huge and all of that. And if you know where the middle of nowhere is, then you know exactly where it's at. You've just found it. But yeah, it's got all sorts of diversity in regards to just the type of topography because of where it's located, as far as steep inclines, level, long open spaces. It's got all sorts of things. Whether it's for hanging on the class itself, or things you want to do on your own, or things doing as a group. And
Cool.
we even had a hog roast too, cooked in.
Oh, that's what got me. Yeah, he told me free food. I was like, all right, where do I sign?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, and I
I
was
can't.
lucky. The cookout when I had the class down there was not really for us. They were having a family farm weekend, uh, and we were invited, Kevin and the other attendees to the class, to come and join them, which was very gracious of them.
Yeah, Kevin was talking about maybe a 40 or 50 person group. Um, so we should see how many are showing up. It should be interesting. Uh, and how you run that many people on the line. I have no idea how many instructors he has, but it should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to do it and just check out someone else's training. I have what we do, and I try to pick up, I go into the place with a clean slate. When I try to take firearms training, and I'm like, leave everything by the door and see what these guys say. See how they say run it. See how they say rack a slide. See how they say do a mag change. And I can't wait, because what I do is incorporate that into the training I give others. Like, if this doesn't work for you, this may. If that doesn't work, I have a third thing, or I have a fourth thing that I picked up somewhere else. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I try to get as much training as possible to make
Yep.
it easier to talk and translate this stuff to others, and hopefully they're safe and make them effective and efficient.
That's the great thing about going all over and taking different classes. Let's say it's a combat pistol, or whatever you want to call it. They've all got their own names, but it's all basically combat pistol stuff. And
Hmm.
you go around to 25 different instructors. What I love about that is pretty much everywhere I've been, the fundamentals and mechanics for the most part are all about the same, but it's terminology and it's little bitty pieces here to maybe quick, maybe make it quick on the draw or quick on acquiring the sites. They all have their little things. And the great thing about that is for the most part, most fundamentals are the same, but if you can pick up one little thing from each instructor you go to, that's really when you're going to see a difference in your handling of the gun, more or less. Not necessarily the shooting and the proficiency, but the handling is really what it comes down to being better in a combat pistol, close quarters pistols situation, is the handling. And seeing all the different trainers that I've been to and all of that throughout the time is just seeing the differences, whether how many times are they the same and how are they different? Is it just terminology that's different, or is it technique? And that's the awesome part of it.
What I try to do is actually get in with female trainers every now and again. Shoot Like a Girl really helped me out a lot. They allowed me, when we were in Atlanta, to be on the bus. They have a tractor trailer that they train women in, and I think it was Atlanta. It might have been Louis. I don't know. But they allowed me on their bus and to watch them train new female shooters on the air guns thing. They speak to them differently. They use different terminology. Um, and I think that helps too, because my client base is a lot more women than some trainers get. You know what I mean? Because of just the people we know. Between him working for one government agency and me working for another, we have a lot of civilian employees and friends of those people that actually come out. So now I'm talking to a 69-year-old woman. I can't go ahead and say, yeah, so we're going to, yeah, doc, we're going to turn this dude's face into a canoe. She doesn't really want to hear that. You know what I mean? So
So yeah, I was just going to ask if you could put just a basic framework about what you mean by talk to them differently, so that
you
us
use
men can
different,
better understand what you mean.
we have different, look, guys get together, you look around to see if women in the room, and then we can tell off colored jokes. Well, some of the terminology we use about, yeah, put two in the chest, one in the face, take him out, just things like that, that we go, that's how you talk. Well, I have a woman who is having struggling coming to the concept of even using a firearm in self-defense. And now we're talking about shooting someone in the face. It's a little too graphic. You have to back it down. You have to know your audience. You know what I mean? And even if a guy isn't into that, usually if you're in a room with 5 or 6 other dudes, you'll just shut up and roll with it. But if it's a female, I could be turning her off to shooting forever. I mean, it took a
So
lot for her to come here.
do you change from silhouette targets to like dots and triangles then
No,
instead?
no, because we also have to be real. This is why we're here. I just can deliver it in a different way. But yeah, no, we're shooting human silhouette targets in a self-defense class, because that's what I want you to get used to. I don't need you to visualize it as being someone you know, but let's not dance around this too much. We're here for you to defend yourself against another human being. I just don't need to say, let's blow his dick in the dirt.
Yeah. And there's a good likelihood you may actually recognize that person.
Yeah, that's a key thing to recognize as well. You know, you could hear some people with their egos that would get in the way and say, "This is me, and I'm going to do me, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else." And then that's not an effective tool to reaching people. But I like what you said about changing the way that you talk and changing some of the descriptions that you use, because a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, because I normally think of, okay, don't you watch my language, don't do the innuendos, that sort of thing. I wouldn't think that next step. And that's, I think, an excellent point, Tony.
Gets even trickier when you're dealing with kiddos. Whole different world.
Yeah, I'm going to be training some kids in June. I volunteered to do a thing to train kids on 22. It's called the 22 Varmint Project. So they're going to be shooting little zombie squirrels and stuff like that with 22s. And that's where we're going to break out the cricket precision rifle that Tony sent out. Can't wait.
So you're going to shoot varmints with crickets? That's just funny sounding.
It is.
What do you mean? Varmints. 22 long rifle, the greatest round of all time.
Remember the noisy cricket from Men in Black.
That's funny. I was just drinking something when you said that. Yeah. So I can't wait. I was actually shooting some 22 shorts through it just to see what it was like. Depends on the distance. It won't change anything. So makes no difference. Makes no difference though. It's not like it kicks a lot and all the kids will have an ear pro on. So
yeah, those CBs, the CBs are a good one for starting out too.
Yeah, I'm going to pick some up, but I think we're going to have a few instructors out. So if they're all using 22 long rifle, I'm going to use 22 long rifle.
Yeah, I don't like the powderless stuff in rifles because number one, they tell you right on there, don't shoot them in rifles, and they don't always have enough power to go out a rifle, and you don't necessarily know because the reports are so small that if if it's a squib or not.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've used I had a squib with that Aguila powderless stuff, Tony, in one of those crickets, so be careful with that.
Yeah, I probably will go with long rifle. I'm figuring everybody's going to bring 22 long rifle. I'll be the one with the coolest gun, thanks to Artist and Tony. But everybody else will probably have like 10 22s or something.
If you go,
what's up?
If you go standard velocity is pretty doggone quiet in a rifle, period. So
yeah, when Tony sent it down, I took it to the range and I zeroed it at 15 yards. Close enough, for kids to be using, but I wanted to see what's the difference between standard velocity and some of the 22 quiets and some 22 shorts, and it really didn't shift anything. So I'm figuring the kid could still nail the target. I have no idea how far the range is going to be, but I'm going to be ready for it, mainly because this little 22 is so much fun to shoot.
You're looking at max. That's not far off from like 50-foot precision. So you're looking at 45 foot there. So, and typically with most of the most popular anyway youth competitions, 25 yards is about it anyway, even with a rifle.
Yeah, and I just want the kids to hit. I just want to hit the target because that's usually what you do. You just want that success, that consistency, and
however close they have to be to make the shot. That's where you want to put them.
Exactly.
So, since you're talking about kids, I remember when I was a kid, and I guess we don't really take that many kids out shooting, but I imagine any kid is the same. Shooting at a bullseye is going to be a certain amount of kids, but shooting like over a can or shooting at steel or, knocking something apart, like I like shooting at ceramic tiles or clay tiles.
Apples or something.
Well, I like roof shingles, but I guess apples would work. Yeah, something that falls apart and then gives you smaller and smaller targets is what I was getting at. Like a roof shingle, you smack it and it breaks into 5 pieces, and now you got 5 smaller pieces. And then as a kid is good and feels good about hitting those smaller and smaller targets, and then they disappear, and just the reactiveness of something besides paper. What do you guys think? Or is that just too messy and something?
I think
what we
for
do
not
is
just kids, but for any new shooters, I think that the reaction targets, whether it's those kind of bullseye targets or food, or like you said, objects, anything that's going to kind of get them excited when they hit it's really what you want, right?
Problem you run into with any type of reactive target or something like that, and anything other than paper, is you're talking about a new shooter. You've got to get them. You've got to get sight alignment. You've got to get at least some mechanics and form and stuff like that down before you just throw them on reactive stuff. Because in my experience, you take somebody that's green and you throw them on the reactive stuff without any type of fundamentals or any type of accomplishment on paper first, and it gets frustrating. It's harder a lot of times for them to hit that, and so it's frustrating right out of the gate.
Yeah, because they don't get any feedback or nothing. They just know they're missing.
Yeah, they can put it on paper and go, okay, I'm pulling left, I'm pulling right up. You can explain that to them. Well, adjust your grip, watch your breathing, just some basic fundamentals. And then once they're able to put it into, I don't know what a 3-inch, or if you're talking 15 yards, 3-4 inch circle, they don't have to put them on top of each other. But, once they get into that, then go, hey, okay, now let's have some fun.
Pace yourself, though. I mean, with my kids, we would do both. If I took them to the range, we would go to the dollar store and buy as much shaving cream cans as we could get, and then they would shoot some paper. But it was always so fun to shoot the shaving cream that you got to get them to go back, right? You got to they got to have fun, so you can't just go out and shoot paper. You know what I mean? Well, that was my philosophy anyway. My kids became very good shot. I mean, Alex became. He's a bullseye shooter, man. But keeping it fun from day one was always the key for me. I don't know.
I think one of the things that Demon Tony did on his channel I thought was cool was I think he took like a piece of cardboard and then you glued down the Green Army Men to it.
Oh, yeah.
Linking them with like the BB gun in the backyard. I used to do that kind of stuff all the time.
What we did was it was Army Man chess. You put 12 guys on your side and 12 guys on the other guy's side, and you're shooting each other's like Army man that's glued down to the cardboard. So
nice.
One thing I'll throw in there is whether it's adults or whether it's kids, is always ending on a high note. How critical that is.
Yeah.
I got trained, I guess if you want to call it that, when I first started going to the local range, because we can only use paper targets there. And the guys that had, a lot more experience and were showing me, the ropes would always just say, get on paper. So kind of like what Clover was saying, just hitting the paper target at whether 25, 50, or 100 yards, even 200 was satisfying. And then they could teach me, okay, try this, try that. And then throughout the progression, you could see yourself getting, maybe not in the bullseye, but you could definitely be getting better groups. And you could feel like where you were aiming, you had a really good shot of the round going to.
Yeah, because remember, a new shooter has no point of reference, right? They don't know that shooting steel is way funner than paper. They don't have that point of reference. So get them on target first, and then have fun with it.
What we do is for our NRA classes, we shoot the NRA course of fire that they taught you to, and at 15 yards we have them shoot paper plate and get rounds on it. But we walk them in and get them tighter because we want to step it up above that NRA basics thing. But and then after we get that, and we tell them they're awesome and everybody pass, let's have some fun. Well, we take a shotgun clays out to the course and just put those down. They're cheap. It's like $7 for 90 of them. They break instantaneously. You know what I mean? And I mean, on a range, like an open range like we have here, we don't have to clean them up because usually by the time they hit them a few times, it's powder anyway. So that's what we use.
How do you put those out?
Oh, just stick a stick behind them and stand them up, and you shoot them on the ground and just explode them.
Just prop them up. Yeah.
Yep. Prop them up, use some tape and some string, hang them off just make a cross and hang them off that so they're swinging a little bit or a challenge. And the 3 inches, and you put them at 10 to 15 yards, everybody can hit them. And when everybody blasts them, we just take a little further back to like 25. And we had the guys shooting at 50, hitting those things, even blowing in the wind at 50 yards on their first time shooting a rifle, first day shooting a rifle. Right. And they were just amazed by that. And just keep doing that. And when somebody's blasting something at 100 yards, everybody's amazed at that. You know, even if you're using a rifle for a first-time shooter, that's a football field. Oh my goodness, I shot a football field away with a rifle, and we just dig it.
The most fun, I know we're not here to talk about old times, but the most fun thing, trick that we ever pulled on Alex was we cut out the bottom of a pumpkin and put one of the small 1 pound tannerite underneath it. He didn't know it was there. And I was like, hey, Alex, shoot the pumpkin. And it blew it to smithereens. And I have a video, and the look on his face is priceless.
We did one. Well, I mean, we did it a couple times, but the first time it was a surprise. After that, it wasn't. But it was May the 4th. You know, May the 4th be with you, right? So I took a TIE fighter, and the center, you know, on a TIE fighter is round. So I got into Photoshop and I made that a target, basically a bullseye. Put rings in it, and we set that out. And then I built this big, or printed out rather, this big Death Star, and had all the little panels in it and all that kind of stuff and whatever. And so the object is we took the TIE fighter, and everybody went through their rounds on that. We did warm up and practice and all that, of course, first. Then everybody went to their rounds, and then depending on that, it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like a qualifier, you know, for racing. That determined what position that they would end up shooting, and everybody got one shot, you know, one after another at the Death Star. And we put the Death Star out at 50 yards instead of 50 foot. And everybody got one shot, and I had randomly, like Tony was talking about, I had tannerite behind a portion of that Death Star. And that way, you know, some random kid was going to eventually hit that, right? And they did, and I mean, the range went silent, boy, when that thing went off. Nobody was expecting it, but
I love it. I wish we could do things like that in Jersey, but nope. There's a fun meter in Jersey, and if something raises above it, they outlaw it.
all right.
Slingshots are illegal here. But they actually fall in the assault weapons ban. They were banned in the 90s. Not even joking.
Wow.
This place sucks. To buy a BB pistol, you know that Crossman pump pistol like a lot of people had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that requires a pistol purchase permit in Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Background checks, cops, everything. Fingerprinting.
That's interesting.
I'm like, you people are nuts.
That's like
But-
street level stuff.
Yeah, but I could walk across the bridge into PA, go into a Walmart, buy one off the shelf, and walk right back into Jersey with it, and it's 100% legal.
Well, it's legal to have it. It's just not legal to buy it.
Yeah, I have to. If I purchase it in Jersey, I need to. It gets treated like a regular firearm.
Probably
Background
because
check.
Probably because the New Jersey state definition of a firearm includes expanding gas instead of igniting by
Exactly.
gas or something. You know, like if they change the definition, it can cover anything that pushes a projectile with gas.
So I'm assuming black
That's what
powder
they
is the same way.
Oh yeah,
Yep. Black powder's the same way. And again, I can go into PA, buy a black powder pistol, drive into Jersey, own it, shoot it, and do everything without a pistol purchase permit. You just can't purchase it here. It's considered purchasing a regular firearm.
See, that's just
and-
silly.
Well, that's another reason at our diversity shoot, we bring up stuff like that to show how stupid the laws are.
God.
But if
Well,
you
they're
move from
designed to
another state,
persecute. They're designed to
what was
persecute.
that?
They're designed to persecute and make it like what's the word, onerous to possess. So the more they can do to make it a pain in the butt and to make it because of the fact that there is whatever legislation about these registration and all this, it implies that they're dangerous. So by taking them away from people, making it really difficult to get them, implying that there's some nefarious reason to even want them in the first place by the fact that they're so difficult to possess, they've accomplished changing the mindset there. That's why it's so important for the rest of us. I mean, it's the opposite. Everywhere else, we want to make sure that people are aware of what we're doing. We want to make sure that people are welcome to participate and able legally, right? So that's the three things that they're working against, and there's basically the things that we're all working for.
And now the newest thing used by Governor Donkey Face is raising the fees on everything by hundreds of percent. Hundreds of percent. It's like I think fingerprinting, he wants to jack up to like $300. It's something ridiculous. It just makes it really, really difficult to even get involved. You know what I mean? If you know you're going to be facing hundreds of dollars of expense just to get the permission to purchase the firearm.
It certainly changes who will go through all the expense and the hurdles. It'll change who are the gun owners.
Yeah, and people often say, "Oh, well, poor people." Hey, man, I don't know how many people can buy a $500 Glock plus $300 worth of fees and taxes. I mean, now that's an $800 purchase. Oh, that changes what you buy, right?
Add a holster.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the gun. Yeah, now
Yeah.
you throw in the holster, you throw in ammo, you try to get training at one of these private ranges that charge you upwards of $700. It's just, dude, that's why I try to fight it here and recruit gun owners here so this crap doesn't spread to other places, because other anti-gun forces in other states see how this is effective, see how it kills the community. Raising fees, throwing obstacles up. I mean, everyone's doing it. Just look across the country at the legislation being proposed. They're not stupid.
They're not unaware, and they're not unsusceptible to influence. So one of the reasons they've had it, I don't want to say easy, because it's been with resistance, but they've accomplished what they've been able to accomplish in the past is due to complacency and non-activism, right? So, or at least, not a level of activism that resisted it, but the every second matters concept, and just the idea that individuals participating in a conversation makes us more mobile. It makes us more able to focus on things like a plight of an individual state out of 50. Especially when we know that their tactic is shifting towards individual fights as opposed to one national fight, or more than likely many national fights in addition to many local fights. And they are going to win that way if we get frustrated and we get depressed about the potentials instead of hardening up and just getting used and comfortable with putting some effort in. I don't know how much longer we need to go. We're going to come up on 2 hours. There might be shows going on coming up here at some point tonight on Gun Channel, so I don't want to be corking anybody. But we don't have to just shut it off either. I'm giving everybody some heads up. Tony's asking, I don't know if are you reading the internal? Tony, did the password work on that laptop?
Oh, I didn't even cry. I just took it out of the box. I haven't turned it on because I'm still writing my show.
Okay. So we have 15 more minutes. How do we want to chat a bit here? What can I be doing on these 2A workshops? Should I change days? Should I change the format? I mean, I'm willing to do whatever I can to make these as useful as possible for everyone.
I'm cool with the way it is, especially since you moved it back later on a Saturday, because I get off at 4:00, so it was really hard. I talked to you on the drive home before.
Yeah, I don't.
4:00 Eastern time.
Honestly, I just try to do it before the evening shows and after Rick, and when I can kind of do it. So it's not a set time necessarily. I just put afternoon in my schedule so that it can be kind of flexible. But that's good feedback, because, like I say, I don't think Tuesday or Saturday is the best day for certain people that use Saturdays as as other day. They need this as their day off. So they suspect the same thing on Sunday, but I guess there's that same, double side of that sword, is that there's a lot of people that this is their only days off. So I don't know if I should shift it to a Sunday. think the only reason I did it Saturday is because there's happens to be other things happening on Sundays occasionally.
Yeah, we're going to be starting our training soon, and it mostly takes place on Sundays. We're trying to get in emergency medical this year. I just spoke to someone who's going to be doing. We're trying to get some Red Cross certification in emergency medical too, because people get excited about certs. You know what I mean? Oh, I got a piece of paper with my name on it.
Just out of curiosity, is that the standard one that the Red Cross offers?
That's what I was talking. I met with someone Sunday at the NRA dinner, and that's what we're talking about. Yeah, NRA. I mean, excuse me, Red Cross certifications. That's what he wants to do. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Let's do it. Because what I have other than that is self-aid taught by a emergency room doctor. And he's talking about how to wrap yourself up and tourniquet yourself and, get yourself to emergency rooms.
You said you spoke to the Red Cross people. Are they going to cover tourniquets?
I have no idea. It was just a conversation, handing off a business card, talking about it a bit, and telling him where it takes place. So he should contact me this week, hopefully, and let me know what his schedule is, so we can actually put it out and let people know what's going on. Hopefully, it involves tourniquets. If not, we have another medical class that does involve tourniquets. So,
yeah,
we can teach the skill, but yeah, you won't be certified if you don't get it from the Red Cross guy, because we don't give certifications out for our class.
Right. I've taken the Red Cross class about 2 years ago, and it did not at that time. Did not cover anything in regards to bullet wounds, knife wounds, anything severe lacerations.
Really? The reason we set up our medical class was because I had a state mandated active shooter class I had to take. And it was death by PowerPoint, and as boring as paint drying on a wall, and damn near useless. So I got frustrated, and I'm like, well, I train people, and I know other trainers. So my partner and I worked on it. We had one of the guys who actually has an active shooter class that he gives, and we had the emergency room doctor. We combined them both into one class. So it's self-aid if you're caught in active shooting. We taught that, and then we did the active shooter class. So I thought it went well because it was all hands-on.
Right.
And it was, and I feel that helps a lot. A lot of these, if anything is state-sponsored, it usually sucks because all they're doing is checking a box. They really don't care.
Right. I was the only non-911 or emergency person, government.gov person in the class. Everyone else was there because it was required because of what they did for a living.
And what I find usually is they act like they're required to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, the class starts out at 8 o'clock in the morning and it goes, how many breaks do we get and when's lunch? That's the first question. And I'm like, man, I'm paying for this. You better shut up and sit down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we really want to grow. We really want to grow this. We really want people to participate. And it's just not gun stuff. I mean, the Second Amendment things, yes, that is very important. The legislation is very important. But we as Second Amendment people and gun owners have to be diverse, even in our skill set. You should be that useful guy. You should be that dude. You know what I mean? That dude that knows how to stop someone from bleeding, that can have a conversation about what the law is without going off and start screaming, my rights, Molan La Bay, don't tread on me. It's like, no, be able to talk to someone. Meet them over that's more than halfway. Meet minimum 60%.
Have you checked out Stop the Bleed in your state?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
It's a very low cost, if sometimes free, depending on who's sponsoring it.
Stop the Bleed? Man, that's why I'm glad I brought a notebook. These workshops to me are awesome. I got a couple Airbnbs to look into. Stop the Bleed.
So I'm gonna go over and chat about a couple of things that have been coming up in the YouTube chat Bing was asking about the 2A Creator Summit coming up in May in Ohio, and that one's, I don't know how to say that guy's name, Tyvon, and then Armament and Axis that we know from the chats, and looks like some other people are participating in this. They have two this year. The spring one is a one-day event on May 19th, and then they have a bigger one in September, a 3-day event in Ohio also. We've been talking though about Kevin Dixie's KD's event, which is the weekend after May 24th in Missouri, and they're similar but not the same. Know exactly what's going on with the Creator Summit. It's creator, manufacturer, and industry event, so it sounds like an opportunity for people who are creating Second Amendment content to meet up with vendors, bring their whatever their stuff out to the live range so they can pull triggers on it.
Cool.
You guys know more about it than if I'm describing it correctly. I believe that's what it is. I don't know if both of them are going to be the same or if the May one's a little bit different. But we could talk about that during one of these shows for sure. But Kevin's, from what I understand, is going to be a new spin on a meetup where he's going to have both instructors and social media people there to participate and collaborate and share each other's skill sets, so that the trainers who may not know about the different tools and platforms and techniques to promote their products or their services can learn from the social media people, and then the social media people get an opportunity to pull triggers and train, instruct, and be instructed by actual instructors, so they can learn more how their firearms work and the reasons for probably some of the holds and some of the malfunction clearances and some of the theories behind stuff, so that maybe they do better reviews and just in general have more experience pulling triggers. So it seems like a pretty interesting concept, and that's a 3-day event. And Dan was talking about where it is, and Tony, it sounds like you're going to this one.
It's actually a great value too, because if you look at the cost, $150 for 3 days worth of training. Typically, from a well-known trainer, you're typically talking $250 or more per day. You're getting 3 days for $150
plus dinner,
as well as he's giving a good. I'm sorry, Tony. A good mix of not just daytime stuff. You're going to do low light stuff. You're going to get access to a lot of stuff that you normally don't get in just one class. So go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, one of them is going to be vehicle class. He's doing that. It's going to be rifle and pistol vehicle class. And again, free food. They're going to have the pig roast. And then on Sunday, they're going to have instructors instructing people. I don't know if I'm going to be one of the instructors instructing, but yep, they said they're going to do that. So it's a lot of stuff. And I think one of the most important things for what I do, just with the Second is for Everyone, is learning the media aspect and how to get sponsors and how, that kind of thing is going to be what's happening on Friday. It's how to get sponsorships and how to grow your I guess, what do you call it? Your fan base or whatever you want to call it.
Your brand, your reach.
Yeah, your brand, yeah. It's all that. And I'm like, I'm going to be there with, all ears and trying to take notes and probably recording too. I don't want to miss anything, because it's like, you can't come up with all the ideas, man. That's why we have this workshop. That's why you have a bunch of people thinking. That's why I'm looking at what Tony said about having the diversity shooting part at Fort Dix and having the classroom part somewhere close by. I'm like, I didn't think of that. I never thought about breaking it down into 2 parts. But if it's close by within 5 or 10 minutes at like a restaurant, or even at what do you call those? A hotel, like one of the hotel conference rooms.
Classroom at a shop. They have like a CCW classroom or something.
Yeah, and it's like, boom, diversity shoot here. Now let's get in the car, go down. I already have the tables, run it to targets, pop it up. Let's have a good time. I didn't think about that until just now.
Somebody might be a member of a church or something to use their, what do we call them? The places where we eat on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they always have like a community room or like a recreation area.
Yeah. Yeah, so even if I don't get it done, because I rush around and try to get it done this year and get in the diversity shoot wedged into Fort Dix, I can plan that sucker for next year, no problem, and put it on the schedule and put it on flyers, talk to the church. I mean, it gives a lot of time because, churches have meetings, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, but, get that approval. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I love this thing, dude. It works for me. I'm trying to use a lot of different things. Getting involved with Gunstreamer is going to be another one, in GunTube. Um, just getting out on different platforms and growing this and letting different people hear about this. I appreciate it. I just really appreciate all the work. All right. Hey, I got to go. Thanks a lot, dudes. We're going to probably start our show soon, and I want to make sure my notes are complete. I'm almost got a whole show written up. So thanks a lot.
You bet. Thanks for jumping in.
All right.
Nice
Bye,
talking to
guys.
you, man.
Thanks, Tony.
Bye. And thanks again, Tony.
So it looks like
Watch
Snob
Tony.
goes live at 9 p.m. So is that now? Or is that
Yeah,
an
usually 9 p.m. Eastern, I think, is what his time is.
Is that right now?
Yeah.
The next couple minutes, yeah.
Okay.
It's 8 Central right now, but it depends on the time zone he meant.
Well, I have it down as 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
Is that
that's what time the show
Yeah, that's
usually
now
starts. Yeah.
Right, so then we can wind it up there. We talked about some of the creator summits that are coming up. You guys are getting ready for NRA here. Somebody asked the patches. Patches are on schedule. Just like the campaign, we hope to get them for NRA. So we'll see. Yeah, because right now they're being made, so we'll see. What do we got? Tomorrow is Sunday. I don't know. Oh, well, Gary will probably be back with his leftovers show in the morning. What's he call that?
I don't know what he calls a Sunday show.
I can never remember his
It's
Sunday
the
show.
early bird chat.
Early Bird. And then some of the other people do chats. Yoder usually posts the Come and Talk It radio show out of Texas. Then how many shows are in the evening? Guns and Gals doing their show tomorrow.
Yeah, as far as I know.
And Pancakes usually cleans up the week with his cleanup show. And stay tuned for another week of live stuff out there. We'll be back on Tuesday, unless we change the day, with another 2A workshop. And bring your questions. You can always email to me at I guess gun websites at gmail.com. Anybody have anything else you want to chat about before we head out?
Can I do a quick reminder about our 2A Spring Challenge sheet?
Oh, there you go. I was getting ready to do the same thing, but go ahead.
Thank you, Trey. We still have the 2A Spring Challenge going on at 2afun.com. You can download the target and take it out, shoot it, and send me an email with a picture or a video link, whichever, trying to make it easy, and I'll post it on the website. Then at the end of the month, we're going to do a drawing for $100. And thanks to Ghost for hosting it.
Thank you for doing it. It's a great idea. Get out there and shoot, guys.
Right on. Anybody else want to throw anything out there before we head out? All right, so that's dead air. So thanks everybody for showing up and working towards 2A.